3-0. And SU's looking for its first win over the Black Knights since 2005. Sayla Butters, starting libero for Army, team captain in her senior season. Someone that Coach Kavachi Lee says is the pulse of the team. And the Black Knights have the opening serve here in the women's building. Diana Etheridge with the honors, sophomore setter out of Chandler, Arizona. And the first point goes to the Black Knights. Shamanova misfires.
It's a rare hitting mistake by Polina Shamanova. You definitely want to get her involved early, as she is one of the best hitters on this team, but just tried to go around the block a little bit, and it just got a bit too much nylon and dropped on the Syracuse side of the floor.
Shamanova coming off a performance in which she kind of struggled. Season low, 9 kills against North Florida, but still found a way to hit 360. Tees this one up, this time gets it to go, and that's good for a kill. The first inside the women's building for Polina Shamanova in 2022.
And this is a really good cover by Alyssa Burt, and just Polina Shamanova going back to that same roll shot that she got on the air earlier and gets it to stick that time.
Very good outside hitter, also a very good server. 6 aces thus far. Oh, what a block from Franco.
Unbelievable. Naomi Franco is one of the best blockers on this team on the right side, and just gets above the net. Great shot here, gets her arms down, extends, and sends that ball to the floor.
That's a block solo, her 12th total block of the season. Etheridge over in 2, Syracuse ready for it. Now the Black Knights in transition. And Franco with a little bit too much mustard on the shot. Army ties it back up at 2.
Franco just trying to get high hands on that one. Didn't see anything on the court opening up. This Army floor defense is really, really good. So just trying to tool it off the block, but just didn't get low enough on that ball, I don't think.
Free ball opportunity for Army. But they can't take advantage. Victoria Lockmanchuk shuts it down.
Lockmanchuk was averaging just under a block per set last season and gets a big one right there. Not a very hard shot over there by Cutler, but could be tricky nonetheless.
She barely had to elevate too. She stands 6'5", just pretty much had to get on her tippy toes to get that one. She can play some offense too.
She can do just about everything. She is one of the most dynamic players that Syracuse has to offer. And when you give her a nice set with a lot of time like this, bump set right to the antenna, and she's got time to get up, you can kiss that thing goodbye.
Up and over a double block. It's interesting. Last year it was Shamanova and Marina Markova, who now plays at Florida, kind of jockeying for 1 and 2 on the team in kills. This year it's Lockmanchuk and Shamanova. Franco with another block.
And this time on Mackenzie Lynch, who's one of the best hitters that Army has to offer, probably right after Fixamer. She's 10th in the Patriot League in hit percentage with .287, and just getting shut down there by the Syracuse defense.
Not something we'd expect too, because Syracuse not exactly off to a great start this year in terms of blocking. They ranked 10th in the ACC, which is towards the bottom third, which is 2%. But there's Mackenzie Lynch giving Naomi Franco a taste of her own medicine.
This is 2 of the tallest players on the court going up against each other, Naomi Franco and Mackenzie Lynch, both standing at over 6'2", and a great block there by number 9 in white.
Violation against the orange. And that gives the point to Army as the Black Knights crawl back within 1. That shot from Lockmanchuk sails out of play, and we're all even up at 5.
Yeah, it was going to be a tough play. Lockmanchuk didn't pass that ball very well off the serve and forced Shamanova to make a bump set on it.
And a reception error against Syracuse allows Army to take the lead. First service ace of the contest.
Well, it's kind of tough. It's a double-edged sword when you got Lockmanchuk on the floor because she is so tall and such a great attacker, but she's not able to get down for some of those more elusive serves.
4 straight points for Army, make it 5.
And Shimanova is blaming herself on that one, immediately taking credit. Just an overpass there, was trying to take the burden off Lockmanchuk and just teed up Army.
Now, don't be alarmed, Army fans, because Paige Fixamer normally wears 6. She got that last kill. Tonight she's wearing 24. But Franco gets a kill of her own. SU's back within 1.
Naomi Franco has developed so much as a right side hitter. Last season, she could put the ball anywhere she wanted to on the floor, but now she's hitting with so much authority. Just gets up and a great swing, left-handed swing. That's deadly from the right side.
Couple of subs for Syracuse. Raina Hughes checks in along with Riley Hoffman. Cutler is denied. Good afternoon, Bree Walp.
Bree Walp, one of a handful of transfers coming into this Syracuse team, went from UT Arlington to North Florida and now plays at Cuse and now doing damage for Cuse. What a block.
Had a nice performance against her former team last time she was on the floor. 7 kills, hit 231, and had a block solo as well.
Great pickup.
First shot for Hughes, no good. And Army reclaims the lead.
Out of system play as Riley Hoffman had to make the first touch on that, so it was up to Alyssa Burt to set the ball, and Franco just trying to go cross court and just couldn't get the angle right.
Hoffman inside for Hughes. The lefty earns Syracuse a free ball. Butters can't keep it in play. She laid out to try and get it back to the front line, but Syracuse knocks it back up at 8.
That's one of the hardest things to do in volleyball when you're tracking down a ball that's moving away from you with your back turned to the net, and you got to try to get a hand on it and get it towards the net. It's almost impossible. Very tough play for Army to make, and that levels things up for Syracuse. Another nice block on the front side.
Shimanova down the line. Nice dig by Lynch. Hoffman returns the favor. And Syracuse wins the rally.
Just a thing of miscommunication for Army. The initial touch coming off the hands of Sailor Butters. And nobody in the vicinity, everyone thought the setter would get to it, and nobody called off, so everyone was just getting ready for an attack, and nobody was home.
Back and forth we go in set 1. Army in scramble mode here. Let's see if Syracuse can take advantage.
Great cover.
Slide shot for Fixamer. No way.
What an unbelievable rally. I mean, that ball barely got outside of either team's 10-meter line, and a slide attempt coming in from the right side for Army, and Shimanova reading it like a book, getting over there and just getting up quickly. You don't have to be the tallest on a slide block attempt. You just got to be the first above the tape.
Seems like that front line's doing a great job moving laterally and meeting the challenge at the net thus far.
Absolutely. They're seeing the ball clear as day.
Free ball sent over by Walp. Inside for Fixamer, but she couldn't keep it in play.
That's a rare mistake by Fixamer, but when you're dealing with a team that has been blocking as well as Syracuse has early in this first set, you're going to try to go around them.
5 different ties thus far, but Syracuse on a 3-0 run. And the Orange lead, 11-8 thus far. Got more set 1 action coming up after this short break. Keep it right here. Syracuse off to a strong start. The Orange up 3 against Army. Alma Kavachi Lee needed a timeout to talk things over with the Black Knights. And Victoria Lockmanchuk ready to get us back underway. Army gets the first point out of the timeout. There's Paige Fixamer.
When you give Diana Etheridge and Paige Fixamer a quick like that, and the block is slightly off, you can see Polina Shimanova and Bree Walp just slightly misaligned. It's like ringing the dinner bell for Paige Fixamer.
Just 2 kills thus far for the Black Knights, and they both belong to Fixamer. Luckman-Shook off with the shot. Back-to-back points for the Black Knights out of the break.
Luckman-Shook's had a few errors today, just trying to get comfortable in this game. She's never led the Orange in kills. That's hard to do when you got Polina Shimanova on your team, but she has been a consistent force for them.
4th error charged against Syracuse, but the Orange follow it up with a kill. Polina Shimanova with an off-speed shot.
And this is what makes Polina Shimanova such a dynamic player. She's not just a big swinging right-handed hitter. She can do that. She can get a tip not even near the antenna and drop it in a part of the court where nobody's even around.
Kill number 3 of the match for Shimanova. Army gets a point off the high hands of Raina Hughes. Savannah Bray with the kill. Shimanova entered today's matchup with 1,533 kills. She needs 16 today to tie Sylvia Uwatara for 3rd all-time in SU program history. And well on her way to doing so here in this matchup with 3 already.
And if she keeps swinging the way she's been swinging, she might hit 16 by the end of this first set.
Paige Fixamer with the serve again. Usually wears number 6, but today in 24 for the Black Knights. Nice effort by Fixamer defensively to keep that ball in play. But the Orange awarded the point as Bray sends it out of bounds.
It was a really good reaction by Raina Hughes. She saw that the hitter was trying to look for her hands, and she just kind of moved them over to the right at the perfect moment to avoid the tool off the block.
Hughes and Hoffman to the bench. Woodford and Franco in along with Didar Ozcan. First look at the player from Turkey. Diving effort by Woodford to keep that ball in play.
It's a good spot to put a free ball.
And it leads to a point for the Black Knights. A powerful shot from the back row from Mackenzie Lynch.
It's unbelievable the diversity of shots that Mackenzie Lynch can throw at a team, because she's only a freshman, and here she is doing back quicks from the back mid. It's unbelievable. You'd never know the next attack that Army is going to throw at Syracuse.
First kill of the match for the true freshman, earned Patriot League Player of the Week last week. She totaled 51 kills and 11 total blocks in an all-tournament performance. And the lead changes just continue. Army back on top.
I think that was credited to a net violation on Syracuse on the block attempt. It's a very fine thing, a net violation.
Very competitive first set. The 6th different time now that the lead has changed hands. Etheridge for Bray, and that's just too easy. Make that Kai Nickerson. First time we're calling her name in this contest.
A junior out of Los Angeles, played 52 sets last year with 75 kills. She was averaging just under 1.5 per set. She's a reliable hitter that the Black Knights can turn to. I mean, they've got a deep roster. They've got names out the wazoo that can get kills at any given moment.
Part of the reason why they're picked to finish 2nd in the Patriot League preseason poll, and Nickerson especially has really elevated her game as of late. She didn't play at all in 2020. Last year recorded 52 sets, started 10 games, and recorded 75 kills. And this year she's off to a solid start, entering this matchup 5th on the team in kills.
She racked up 10 kills against San Diego State University in that 3-1 loss. A strong performance by her.
Ozcan on the slide, but she couldn't tuck it inside that back line, and the Army run continues.
That slide is a tough thing to execute, especially when you've got sort of a new setter for Syracuse and definitely a new player for Syracuse in Ozcan.
Woodford ends the run as she goes over in 2 and gets sneaky.
Lauren Woodford gets this ball. It's a great pass, so she can do whatever she wants with it. So nobody expects that she's going to go over on 2 with it. Just puts that right behind the 3-meter line. And Army was just caught flat-footed.
Her 3rd assist of the match. She's the team leader in helpers and sat out the entire 2021 season for a medical red shirt. And in her place, Elena Karakasi did most of the setting. It also gave an opportunity for Riley Hoffman to log some action as well. You'll see both of those players logging time at the setter position for Syracuse today.
It's good to have 2 setters that you can really turn to at any time. If one's not feeling it, you can go to the other one, or you can try to run a 4-2 offense.
Far side for Cutler, dug out by Shimanova, but she can't keep that one alive.
You see Polina Shimanova, she's playing in the back middle part of the court, so that's called the 6. You're 6 spots away from the serving position. Gets that ball, and it's just ever so slightly overpassed, so it gives Army an opportunity to attack. She tried to cover herself with her right hand, but just rolled out of her reach.
Victoria Lockman-Shook gets a point back for Syracuse.
Lockman-Shook, again, great ball out to Woodford and a great swing. You can see how her hand was outside that block. They were trying to funnel that ball into the libero Butters and just couldn't get her platform square on it.
Lockman-Shook reached the 300 career kill mark last time she was on the floor at the UCF Challenge. And she's in the 100-point club this season, along with Polina Shimanova. Cutler with a cut shot. That is pretty.
We might have to rename the cut shot to the razor shot. The razor shot. That was so sharp, landing well inside the court. And an unbelievable swing. I have no idea how she got her hand that around the ball and over the block. I mean, Franco was in the area, but she had no chance. I mean, nobody thinks that ball is coming to them like that.
Cutler didn't even play in Army's last game against UConn, but has had some success previously. Was preseason All-Patriot in 2021.
Seen a lot of scrambles by both teams. This game might come down to who can make the most of them.
Good effort by Wolf to keep that in play. But the Black Knights get the point off the deflection.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly who got hands on that one. It might have been Walp up front. But again, just scramble after scramble, and Army was able to capitalize on their free ball opportunity, and that's what Syracuse is going to have to do down the stretch. I mean, you can't ask for much more than a free ball when you've got great hitters like Shimanova and Lockman-Shook, but Army definitely capitalizing on that one.
It's been a lot of free balls in the first set. Who do you think has taken advantage of those opportunities more?
Certainly Army, and I think that's a big reason why they lead by 4. We've seen a bit more disorganization by Syracuse on kind of those out-of-system opportunities, but Army, like right there, has been locked in all game.
Violation against the Black Knights gives the point to Syracuse.
I'm not sure if that was a double touch. Army can't believe it. Diana Etheridge was shrugging her shoulders, not knowing what the call was. But either way, Syracuse gets a point back. I mean, Army's on the cusp of hitting 20 points, and Syracuse is well behind. So if the Black Knights get 20 points first, they're going to be well on their way to earning the first set. And that's a big problem for Syracuse, because Syracuse has never lost the first set this season and then come back to win the game.
0-3 this season so far when losing in the first set. And they're trending more and more in the direction of being in that situation once again. Another kill for Lynch.
Yeah, when Mackenzie Lynch is swinging like that, it's not looking too great for Syracuse in that set. Just disorganization by the block. You can see the 2 front row players there in that instance was Bree Walp and Ryan Hughes. Just left a huge hole in the middle of that block for Mackenzie Lynch. And she does not need a second invitation, just taking that one right to the floor.
Coach Ganasharatnam spends a timeout for Syracuse to talk things over. A lot of great non-conference games, not just for Syracuse early on in the season, but the ACC as a whole. A lot of talent in this conference year after year, and a chance to perhaps flex muscle against some of the other foes in the nation. Got a top 10 battle between Louisville and Purdue. Also Ohio State and Pittsburgh, but Ohio State's already taken down an ACC team this season, Will. Which matchup are you most excited for?
I'm certain a freshman outside hitter, you don't expect this kind of productivity, but she's just chomping at these free opportunities. You can see her there elevating for a great block. Then she's going to get in on the attack from the backcourt. Polina Shimanova can't handle that one. And again here, another mistake by Syracuse. Overpass, kill. You mentioned earlier who's making the most out of those mistakes. It might be Army, but it's definitely Mackenzie Lynch has been dominating those chances.
Pair of kills so far in this match. I have a feeling that's not going to be the last we hear from the true freshman. Syracuse gets the first point out of the break. The Orange pull back within 3.
The timeout by Bakir Ganasharatnam does its job. Syracuse is able to side out from that service opportunity with a nice set to the outside to Luckmanchuk, and Syracuse is only down by 3 here, but Army's look sharp and could certainly use a big serving streak here.
How about a service ace for the Ukrainian?
That's a good way to start a serving streak. Beautifully placed float serve right on the 5 position. This one was just dancing down the sideline. See the receive there, trying to get low to the court and get that ball up and towards the middle. On a serve like that, you'd just be lucky to get that ball off the ground.
First ace of the game for Syracuse today, and 8th of this season for Luckmanchuk. Lynch denied by Hughes and Wolf. That front line making a play.
There are whole international volleyball teams that rotate their game around great serving and great blocking, and we just saw that there by Syracuse. The serve by Luckmanchuk throws off the the Army offense, and a big block coming from the front row for the Orange.
12th block of the season for Hughes. That ranks 3rd best on the Syracuse team. Hughes with the left hand earns the deflection off the high hands of Lynch. And we're all tied up at 20.
Well, Victoria Luckmanchuk must have heard me, because I said Syracuse could use a big streak of serves here, and that's exactly what they do. Rhina Hughes gets up there. She was responsible for that block earlier, and she's responsible for that kill right there. Using the hands of the blockers, just sending that ball out of bounds. But again, my point stands. The serves from Luckmanchuk have been totally throwing off the Black Knights. They have not been able to establish their usual offense, because when their usual offense is running at full clip, Fixmer can get in, Cutler can get in, Mackenzie Lynch can get in. They have so many weapons to throw at them, but they've been limited because the serve receptions have not been doing them any favors against Victoria Luckmanchuk, who's just thrown them totally off balance. And this is a great opportunity. So now both teams level at 20. Syracuse still retains. Army is trying to pull what Bakir Ganasharatnam did a few moments ago and try to, it's almost like icing the kicker in football. You're trying to get the server out of her groove, and you can see her there just trying to keep focus, keep her head in the game, and just keep her mind on that next serve.
Army spends its 2nd timeout of the first set. You mentioned Victoria Luckmanchuk. All the talks about Polina Shimanova being back for Syracuse, but she was a big performer for this team before, and she is once again this year.
And she's dominating this year so far, 2nd in the ACC with kills per set. And she's been blocking, she's been swinging extremely well, especially from that left side. And like we just saw most recently, great serving.
Had a big season 1 year ago, and you know, another player that decided to stay with this Syracuse program for her senior year. She definitely had the talent to transfer to a different school if she wanted to and play some high-level volleyball, but instead back with the Cuse and off to a great start tonight against the Black Knights. A big reason why SU just erased the 4-point lead to knot it back up at 20.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that about Victoria Luckmanchuk. You could say that about Polina Shimanova. They could have gone anywhere, but they decided to stay here. They're too attached to this program. They've played all their college balls so far in orange and blue. They want to finish it that way. And it's a good thing for Syracuse because they're 2 of the most dominant players on the floor whenever they're out there. Another out-of-system opportunity.
Another service ace for Syracuse. That's the 2nd of the day for the Orange, and the run is now 5.
And that's not exactly, okay, so that was number think that might have been Savannah Bray in the backcourt trying to get a first hands on it and just totally pushing it to the right out of play.
Luckman couldn't get it over. That's an error. It evens the game back up at 21, but still, Will, a nice run for Syracuse there to get back in it and put themselves in a position to potentially take set one.
There's not much more you can ask for. 2 service aces and a lot of out-of-system opportunities for Syracuse to take advantage of. Victoria Luckmanchuk doing her job perfectly right there.
Etheridge for Fixamer. Nope.
And that is what makes Shimanova so dominant. It's actually her and Bree Walp, and I think it's Walp that gets her hands on it. And that's what you get with a 6'2" grad student. She's been unbelievable. It's been a quieter night for her, but she's been just as dominant right on front of the net as anybody else has.
Blocking great from Walp, not necessarily the service game though. Sends that one out of play. That's her 14th service error of the season. And the game is tied up for the 10th time in set one. Shimanova with a thunderous slam, but reverberated by Kaya Nickerson.
And that shook the walls. And Nickerson gets up here. Shimanova just uncorks that volleyball. And the junior outside hitter, not the tallest player on this court by any stretch, only standing at 5'8", but using that frame perfectly to get her elbows nearly above the tape, and just got all of that ball, nobody even close to where that ball was going to hit the floor for Syracuse, and that is an authoritative way to pull away 23-22 here late in the first set.
If she has a fastball, that had to be it, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've seen Shimanova kind of work up her shots. We've seen her tip. We've seen her roll. We've seen her cut. But if you're looking for 105 miles an hour right down the middle, Shimanova just provided it.
Again, we got the Syracuse tournament streaming all weekend long on ACC Network Extra, but that's not the only games we have streaming coming up. A lot of great ACC games on the network in the future as well.
Syracuse Cardinals are going to play for it all on October 2nd.
And Miami as well also has Abby Cassiano. So if you're a big Syracuse fan, you want to catch some more SU action and catch some former players in action, definitely check out that game. But back here in the women's building, it's 23-22, Army over Syracuse. Will, real quick, what do you think was the discussion in both huddles here as we close out set one? I
think it was just kind of a reset. You know, there's not a lot you can coach up in the middle of a set. You can't really say, oh, hey, I think you should do this with your blocking or your reception. It's just, all right, let's take a breather. Let's reset. Clearly this server has our number right now. But let's not get into our heads too much, and let's bounce back and get this ball up next time.
Army pulls 1 point closer. Savannah Bray with another kill.
Savannah Bray has not seen a lot of the floor tonight, but had an extremely productive season last year. 245 kills, working at an insane rate, and now set point for Army.
And the Black Knights take it off the hands of Mackenzie Lynch. Army off to a great start.
We saw the setter / defensive specialist for Syracuse, Riley Hoffman, in the area code, but no shot. She's getting a handle on that. A powerful swing to end the set for Army.
Army off to it is 2-1, I should say, when taking a 1-0 set lead, and they have it here early on. Set 2 coming up after the break. Earlier today, Polina Shimanova was recognized for reaching the 1,500 kill mark, just the 5th player in Syracuse program history to reach that mark, and she has a chance to continue to keep building on that history as she is creeping closer and closer to that #1 spot, needing just 165 more kills entering today's matchup to claim the top kill spot in program history.
It's so rare that volleyball programs get great players or recognize great players while they're here, and you absolutely have to do that if you're Syracuse. You have a 1,500 kill hitter on your team as a grad student, and she deserves all the recognition in the world, has given Syracuse a lot of great moments and a lot of great performances over the years. And she's just getting started. I mean, if she's gotten to 1,500 kills at the start of this year, she's only 16 away from lone third spot, and she's just getting started.
Yeah, she's off to a blazing start. Preseason All-ACC, certainly living up to the billing. 4th in the ACC right now in kills per set. Victoria Luckmanchuk, interestingly, is just ahead of her at 3rd, and those two have been going back and forth for the team leading kills, and certainly welcoming some competition, you bet.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think they might be throwing some stakes on there, who can get the most kills this tournament. You got a lot of games coming up, so a lot of opportunities. Right now, they are level 3-3, Shimanova and Luckmanchuk, so the next couple of sets are definitely going to decide how that bet's going.
Yeah, and Shimanova, another player that definitely could have explored the transfer portal and looked to play elsewhere this season, have a chance to win a ring. The Syracuse certainly has a chance to win a ring as well, but play for an elite program, but instead decided to keep her talents in the Salt City and stay in orange. Army with a 1-0 lead over Syracuse as we begin set 2. And the Black Knights take the first point, courtesy of Alana Cutler.
Yeah, Army starting off exactly how they left off. Great pass, great set, and only a solo blocker for Cutler, and that is a point every single day of the week for Cutler.
Is there an added advantage for lefties in volleyball, Will?
I think so. The ball, the spin off the ball is slightly different. It's a different look that a lot of players have seen. I mean, players can go their whole careers up to college without seeing a left-handed hitter, and then suddenly you're faced with a handful on the court at any given time. It also opens up the option. It's a more comfortable swing from the right side, and it's a different look from the middle. So it can certainly throw people off at the beginning of a game. As the game progresses and as the season progresses, they should get more used to it.
Back-to-back kills for Cutler, and Nickerson adds one as well. A hot start for the Black Knights.
And almost all of those have been right up the middle. They're not exactly exploring the outside hitter and the opposite hitter too much right now. They're keeping it quick, they're keeping it short, and it's worked for them so far.
Shimanova gets the response off the high hands and beats a double block.
Yeah, Syracuse was following this ball the entire time, just making sure that doesn't re-enter play. But you can see it was Nickerson again. That middle has been busy tonight. Just couldn't get that ball back down to the court. Still a great effort on the block.
4 kills for Shimanova, just 12 away from tying Sylvie Uwatara for 3rd all-time in SU program history. That shot was deflected on the way to the back line. Army gets a point back, and they're in full control early in set 2.
This is what makes Mackenzie Lynch kind of the complete player, because on that point, she dug the ball and then had time to go back and take a full swing, so she can give herself that time. That's not something a lot of volleyball players can say.
Again, she's only a true freshman, but certainly does not look like it here. What a block! Lynch kept it in play too. Back-to-back points for the North Carolina native.
And she's just emphasizing your point. She's only a true freshman. She's reading sets like that. She's getting so much separation above the net. It's going to be extremely interesting and extremely problematic for the rest of the Patriot League to see how Mackenzie Lynch's career develops.
Used all of her 6'2" frame and just absorbed that shot with her left hand.
Out of system for Syracuse.
Etheridge tees up Bray from the back row, but a nice sliding effort by Burt. But it doesn't lead to a point for the Cuse. The Orange wanted a deflection on that shot, but none given.
Yeah, everybody on that Syracuse huddle was kind of shaking their fingers looking for that deflection. We're going to get a replay right here. Is it clear enough? Does it take a noticeable deflection? You can see the two blockers are Mackenzie Lynch and Paige Fixamer, but they're going to take a look at this point and try to see if there's anything definitive. It was called out of play without a touch, so the point is Army's as it stands, which is why they lead 6-1 here. They're going to see if this was touched. Franco from the right side. I think that does catch a finger. I think there's a frame or two somewhere in there where you can see Mackenzie Lynch's hand kind of go backwards. This is so tough to call in real time. We got another angle on it. The contact, oh, I think that hit. I think that might be the angle. This, you're trying to call this in a fraction of a second. It's almost impossible, but I think looking at it with the slow-mo certainly benefits the referees because they get to correct this call, and if it is going to be overchanged, but wow, that is as close as it gets.
Now, Will, each set goes to 25 points, so 1 point doesn't seem like maybe a big difference to people at home, but why is this such a critical point with Army off to such an excellent start in set 2?
Well, you got to stop that momentum somewhere, and there's a big difference between being down 6-2 or 7-1. So this point, if it goes for Syracuse, yeah, it is only 1 point in a long game in only the second set of this contest, especially when you got 2 more games tomorrow for Syracuse. But every point counts for the Orange, and they desperately want to get back into the second set, but if it takes too much longer, it might just have to defer back to Army and the call on the court. Momentum is everything in volleyball. They are calling a tip, so that is Syracuse's point. I thought I saw some motion, and so did the team here at the women's building in Syracuse.
So a successful challenge for Coach Bake. That gets Syracuse back within 3. The Orange trailing 1-0 here, and so far this season winless, 0-3 when falling behind in the first set.
And back to your point about how that point is so important, it goes from being a 6-1 game to a 5-2 game, so it's basically a gain of 3 points.
Looks denied at the net, and Bree Wolf gets the point.
And now Syracuse is fully back in this set, only down 2 early. This is not insurmountable territory, and Bree Wolf just reading that, saw it was going over the net. Doesn't have to be a hard hit, it just has to be well placed, and that's exactly what she does.
Seen some really solid plays from the transfer, but Army strikes back.
That was a smart lead by Savannah Bray. She was reading it the whole way, and at the last second just kind of dipped her shoulder out of the way of that. That's dangerous on a float serve because you have no idea how those knuckleballs are going to shape in the backcourt. But it was a safe lead nonetheless.
First time we're seeing Ireland McCauley in the contest. True freshman defensive specialist. Interesting though, she's in the game with Sailor Butters, who's the starting libero. But Syracuse gets a point from Naomi Franco.
Yeah, you got a lot of defense out on that floor right now for Army. And a 2-point lead, it's not a substantial lead, but it is important, and Army might just be trying to protect that, especially when you've got a red-hot offense in Syracuse in the front line.
Smart play by the Army back line to see that ball sail out of play. Close call there. How difficult is it to judge whether to play that or not, Will?
It's extremely difficult because, you know, if you leave that and it hits the court, it doesn't look great for you, and also you want to give your team the best opportunity possible. But it's been service error after service error here. Both teams are really trying to find the margins and get aggressive with the serves.
That's back-to-back errors from both squads.
Syracuse entering today's game had only 29 aces compared to 49 service errors. That's 13th in the ACC.
Army also very good at defending the serve, 3rd in the Patriot League, only allowing a little over 1 ace per set. Chow set the net, and the Black Knights win it. Paige Fixamer goes airborne to win the point.
That is such a tough play to manage if you're Syracuse. You can see Burt there in the blue with the dig. It's overpass. It's nearly going over the net. It might have gotten a little bit of the tape, but Bree Wolf has to make a split-second decision on it, tries to put it over.
Hughes comes back with her left hand and pulls the Cuse back within 2. She's been a spark off the bench for the Orange.
Absolutely, and it's so important. You mentioned left-handed hitters just a few moments ago. It's so important to have multiple of those on the same team. Franco and Hughes, both southpaws, and both very deadly from that side of the antenna.
Savannah Bray back at it again. How good has she been? Her 3rd kill of the match.
This Army team, left, right, center, they've got players that can make a difference, and Bray is certainly one of those.
Very talented player in high school, won Gatorade Volleyball Player of the Year in Georgia back in 2019. Is the first player from Etowa High School to win that award. Another point for the Black Knights, this time Alana Cutler.
Cutler getting back into the mix of it, 151 kills last season. He's been a force for the Black Knights this season.
Leading the team with now 6 kills in this contest. But the Orange get a response. Brianna Hughes again, lefty on lefty action.
It's been a deep roster for Syracuse getting kills, but Hughes has kind of been at the top of that list for most of the game. That's now her 3rd kill today. She's only behind Shimanova for most on the team. She's tied with Naomi Franco. And the right side hitters have been extremely important for Coach Bake this game.
Hughes, one of the players from last year's roster that didn't even play in a game. And now with so many players transferring out of the program and graduating, it's given her an opportunity to step up and lead what is a very small roster, which features just 12 Syracuse players.
Credit that point by Army to Sailor Butters, who had an unbelievable dig on Polina Shimanova. Might be the block at the net that gets the point. But if it's not for Sailor Butters in the backcourt, totally robbing Shimanova, that point doesn't happen to begin with.
11th block of the contest for Army. Not exactly a spectacular blocking team. They rank just 4th in the Patriot League, getting 1.6 blocks per set, but well above that average thus far.
Yeah, they've been certainly watching film or practicing that in practice because it's showing. They've been extremely efficient and well coordinated up front, but unfortunately when a right side hitter named Franco is coming at you, there's not a whole lot you can do on a ball like that.
One lefty goes to the bench, another comes in, and that's the 4th kill of the match for Naomi Franco. One of 3 team co-captains along with Polina Shimanova and Victoria Luckman-Shook. And the Orange get another point off a service ace.
Shimanova 36 service aces last season, her first today. It's almost kind of a rolling float serve. Didn't have a whole lot of spin on it, and no chance for Diana Etheridge to get there.
Shimanova had a spectacular serving season last year, 4th in program history with 36 service aces.
Oh, it's still up by Orange.
Ozcan with a heady play to keep it alive. Tapped up for Cutler, and she's denied.
What a point for Syracuse. Ozcan, I mean, they start teaching this in grade school volleyball, but the cover was so good and allowed Syracuse to stay in this point. And then the block, we've talked so much about blocking in this game. And it again pays dividends for Syracuse. I mean, they were down 5-1 at one point in this set. Now they're only down 11-10.
This is the closest that Syracuse has been to Army in this set since it was 1-0. Now a chance to tie it up.
And they're fighting tooth and nail for every opportunity.
And they do. Luckman-Shook tucks it inside the back line.
Now the last set kind of got away from Syracuse at the end. Army started to pull away, but now it's Army that's kind of letting Syracuse catch up. They've got all the momentum right now.
First tie here in the second set. We had 8 in the first set, but just like that, the Black Knights get the lead back. That's the 6th service error of the match charged against Syracuse.
And that was so close. I mean, if a Shimanova float serve got the baseline to make it 12-11 Syracuse, this place would have exploded.
Army returns the favor, and we're even at a dozen.
Yeah, serving is so important. I mean, Army, they've got 39 aces entering today's game versus 65 errors, 5th in the Patriot League, so certainly up there with some good teams.
Cutler adds to her spectacular performance with her 7th kill.
The junior out of Long Beach, California. So many great players and a great program there at Cal State Long Beach, but they produce so many strong players, and Cutler certainly among those ranks.
She attended Long Beach Polytechnic High School, which is just a football hotbed. Deshaun Jackson played there, Juju Smith-Schuster, Matt Corral, Billie Jean King even went there. But Syracuse continues to play some solid defense Luckman-Shook with a roof.
This is really impressive by Syracuse because they arguably lost their best blocker to the transfer portal last season. Abby Cassiano taking her talents to South Beach, now playing for the Miami Hurricanes. But that has not stopped Luckman-Shook and Franco and Shimanova from covering her bases.
Definitely a two-way player, and so is Raina Hughes.
You can see that first lead in the second set today for Syracuse, and basically all thanks to the blocking and some great serving. The Army has really let this one slip away.
Having a tough time with that length. Hughes stands 6'2". Hoffman stands just 5'5" and didn't have enough height on that serve.
Yeah, it's difficult in these pressure situations to really accurately place these serves. That's why, you know, a good server, even a great server, is an unbelievably powerful thing to have on a volleyball team.
Now, Will, is this something that you'll see just in the beginning of the season, the struggles with the serves?
Certainly. It does improve as the season goes on. You just kind of start to get more automatic, some players, but it's certainly something that can get practiced.
Had a back and forth first set, same here in set 2. Army on top 15-14. Back in the women's building where Army leads Syracuse 1-0 and 15-14 in set 2. The Syracuse tournament off to a great start, but this isn't the only game. We got 5 more streaming live here on ACC Network Extra, and the action tomorrow starts at 11 a.m. as SU takes on Hofstra, and we'll also see Yale in action against Army.
This is a really interesting tournament. We spoke to head coach Bakir Ganasharatnam before this game, and he said that all those teams listed playing in this tournament are at very different stages in their season, so it should be a diverse and difficult test for the Orange to get out of here.
Syracuse gets the first point out of the timeout, courtesy of Victoria Luckman-Shook. 4th tie of the second set.
And that's how you come out of a timeout. A side out, big swing from your left side, just utilizing a block in the gap and then just putting it right between the 5 and the 6 spot. It's a lot of confusion on the volleyball court in a very short amount of time. You got to decide who's going for that ball. Not enough time for the Army Black Knights to make a reaction.
3rd kill of the match for the Ukrainian, but Paige Fixamer comes right back and gets one of her own.
It's been a tug and pull game. It's been a tug and pull set. I think Fixamer just sees, well, I'm not going to go into that big block that's been so deadly for Syracuse, and just pushes it right around it. You can see the outstretched arm of Alyssa Burt just trying to keep that ball in the air and not able to do so.
Alana Cutler's kind of stolen the spotlight for the Army offense early, but it's predicated around Paige Fixamer in the middle. And Will, it's interesting. Entering this matchup, she's leading this Black Knights team in kills. As a middle blocker, is that something you see very often? It
depends on the team philosophy. And you know, if you have a team that really relies on outsides like Syracuse, it's going to be a player like Shimanova leading the way in kills. But Army's got a lot of good players at a lot of good positions, and I think that's why Cutler, even though she's not exactly built too much like a middle blocker standing less than 6 feet tall, her timing is great. She's got a great vertical jump, and she can really make the Syracuse defense second guess itself on where the volleyball is going to go.
Tied up once again, but not for long. Service error credited to Bree Walp, and Army has the lead.
And a service error number 8, and the second on Walp's night. It's something that's definitely got to be figured out, especially in these later sets if this turns into a back and forth affair.
Something she's definitely struggled with early on in the season. Just 2 service aces to now 15 errors. Off-speed shot for Cutler. That's money.
And Cutler just continues to establish herself in this game. Really good defense, as you saw the pickup, and then a back set. And Cutler, that's one of the toughest shots to cover, because if you're the libero, you don't want to go too far back. But just playing too far forward is Alyssa Burt, and the ball goes over her head.
The errors continue. Number 3 against the Black Knights, and number 11 on the match between both teams. Seen some very clean play at times, but also some very sloppy play, especially in the special teams.
Absolutely. It's kind of felt sometimes like a little ping pong match. It'll out and then get the next serve and then again out, but it's been back and forth all game. But we've had rallies like this where it's been unbelievable volleyball.
Free ball opportunity for the Black Knights, and a 2-hand flush for Nickerson.
That's the best thing that you can do in that kind of situation. You don't want to do too much with that ball when it's just left over the tape. Nickerson gets up, doesn't try to set it back or get her setter into the game. Just finds an open spot on the floor, and Syracuse, you're not putting a block up for that. You're scrambled after a big pickup and a free ball opportunity. And everybody on different pages for Syracuse, and now Army with a very important 2-point lead late here in the second.
Saw this movie once before, and Army won the first set. What a dig by Butters against Shimanova.
How did that ball stay up?
The Orange tee it back up, but Nickerson's there again.
I mean, that point has just defined Army volleyball this entire game. An unbelievable dig by Butters, and then the block. The duo of Lynch and Nickerson just stuffing. Get to know everybody extremely well. You build a lot of trust, you build a lot of camaraderie, and that's exactly what the military academy is trying to do, and it's showing on the volleyball court.
Back underway out of the timeout. High fly ball in the air, and Army gets a point off a Syracuse violation.
Just an unfortunate unforced error there. Lauren Woodford with a double touch. It was a great pickup by Shimanova. That ball nearly just touching the ceiling. And now Army is thoroughly ahead in this second set, 21-17.
So what's interesting about the daily life of a cadet, and especially Sailor Butters, is she had to actually reclassify to the class of 2023 because she missed Beast Camp in July of her freshman year because she suffered a concussion. But it's put her in a position to have an extra year and lead this Army team as the team captain. And she's leading the Black Knights to potentially a 2-set lead.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's too many people on the earth that would sign up for that schedule that we just saw twice in a row, but certainly Butters is the kind of person that would love to do that. She's a very strong player on this volleyball team. Probably a big reason that she is so good is because she had all that extra time after suffering that concussion. And her leadership and her ability on the court is just been omnipresent all game.
Coach Kavachi Lee calls her the pulse of this team. She returns the serve there. Shimanova from the back row. Oh, like the Flying Dutchman. That was pretty.
And that play was extremely well choreographed by everybody. Great dig on the line by Woodford. Great bump set, and then Shimanova coming up the middle. Has a lot of floor to work with and just eyeballs that back corner.
I should say the high-flying Russian. Her 5th kill of the match. She's kind of been bottled up thus far, though. Who hasn't been bottled up is Alana Cutler. That's kill number 10.
And I was just about to say, she has not gone anywhere. That is now her 10th kill this game. We're not even done with the second set right now. She could be certainly looking at multiple, definitely getting into the 15 range, but she's had quite the afternoon here in Syracuse.
Army looking to close out set 2. Take a 2-zip lead. Cutler's got him 1 point closer. Back-to-back points for the junior.
It seems like when in doubt, this ball is going to Cutler. Syracuse might have to start throwing triple blocks at her because you see she gets a double block right in front of her. No problem. Just quick little roll shot inside the 3-meter line, 10-foot line. And she can put that ball anywhere. She's got a huge swing. She can explode the ball off a block, or she can go, like we just saw with the cut shot, low in towards the net, or to a deep corner. She's got so many weapons. She's a Swiss Army knife of a player, and that is a huge reason why she's got 11 kills tonight. The next closest player is Mackenzie Lynch. She's only got 4.
She's out hitting everybody right now. 11 kills on 22 attacks, hitting .364. And Army's got a 5-point lead, which ties its largest of the set. And they've got set point as Coach Bake spends a timeout.
A smart timeout taken by Syracuse. I mean, you've got one chance to really get yourself back into this set. Army is at set point once again. Syracuse has yet to cross the 20-point mark. And Army has just been serving this ball incredibly well today. Already has 2 aces as compared to only 4 service errors. That's a solid ratio. That number's never going to be higher. You're never going to have more aces than errors, but batting 500 is a great spot to be for the Black Knights.
As a team, this Army squad hasn't exactly hit well entering today's matchup. Dead last in the Patriot League, hitting just 174. Today they're at 145, but certainly been aided by Cutler. Set point for the Black Knights, and they take set two. Perhaps a little unorthodox.
Kind of sets that come her way.
And that last matchup against UConn, Kingsley Wallace, who's a sophomore outside hitter for the Black Knights, logged a lot of time. She had a career-high 12 kills. We haven't even seen her in this matchup, and you have to think it's because Cutler has just been playing spectacularly. On the other side, Syracuse down 2-0. They haven't won a game this season when they've entered set 3 in that situation. What do you think needs to change in set 3 to have SU force a 4th set potentially, Will?
Well, they're going to have to do a lot better on the free ball opportunities. We saw that a few times where miscommunications turned a free ball for Syracuse into a free ball for Army, and the Black Knights just didn't make as many mistakes. It's got to be cleaning up the easy things. It's a lot easier said than done, but it'll go a long way.
Diana Etheridge gets us underway in the 3rd set. And Savannah Bray opens the scoring. Victoria Luckman-Shook can keep it alive.
That's a really tough play for Luckman-Shook, who had to reach up and try to get that ball back down. You can see it's a tall swing, might have gotten a piece of the hand, so she could have been forced to make a play on that. And just doesn't get it up enough. Hand passes are extremely difficult, especially when it's on a full swing like that. And for Luckman-Shook, who's a taller player, it's really hard for her to explode out of her base. 4th
kill of the match for Bray. Army is taking the first points in all 3 sets this evening. Shimanova taps it over, but can't get the touch. And the lead's now 2 for the Black Knights.
Yeah, it's another kind of tricky play where the set is made well off the net. You saw the setter, Lauren Woodford, forcing to make a bump set and try to set Polina, but it was just very far off the net. So really her only option was to try to look deep court for a touch. And they're actually looking for a touch right now. Syracuse is challenging this play. This is the 2nd straight set that we've seen start out with the Syracuse challenge. It went a long way last time. It might try to start something here for Syracuse. Let's take a look. See Polina just off the... It may have gotten something.
Perhaps off the pinky there.
Well, it's Cutler on the block on that, playing the antenna side.
Right after Shimanova shot that, she turned right around to Coach Bake and made a gesture and immediately wanted her coach to take a look at this one. She seemed pretty confident in the fact that it hit off Cutler's hands. Let's have another look.
And the real telling thing for that is if there's any change in spin or immediate direction, but it doesn't look like there is that. Again, this is a lot easier to call if you're a player because a lot of the times you can actually hear it hit something. I don't know if there's enough there to challenge.
It's tough to tell. It does kind of look like it hits off her pinky, though, and changes direction.
Yeah, it does look like in Cutler's, that would be her right pinky. Just kind of bends back ever so much. They're still taking a look at this. But again, this is nearly impossible to call, especially because you've got the tower referee who's closest to us is on the opposite side of that floor. So you've got the 2nd referee who's at ground level trying to call this. That's, yeah, I mean, thank goodness we have these net side cameras that can look down the length of this, because otherwise I don't know how they would be challenging these calls. But again, this is just, I'm happy I'm in the press box because I do not want to be on the floor making that call.
Coach Bake 1 for 1 in challenges today.
This could be a good shot. Oh, that definitely gets a piece.
That's the money shot right there.
That's it.
Clearly touches off the fingers of Alana Cutler. You need indisputable video evidence, and that's the shot right there that would certainly give you that evidence. And there it is.
There it goes. So yeah, the baseline camera that's elevated up here in a balcony in the women's building is really the one that was a difference maker. Cutler certainly tried to sell it. Was doing a good job at doing so, but Shimanova knew what she saw, and this game is all squared.
Now, why is that such a big point for Syracuse?
Well, we saw it back in the 2nd set where Syracuse, after getting down 5-1, it could have been a 6-1 game. It turned into a 5-2 game, and then they marched right back. Got it to be very close. Army ended up taking the set, but again, much rather be tied 1-1 than 2-0, and now Syracuse has the lead.
Bray misfires. Double block was there for Syracuse and perhaps affected that shot.
This just kind of happens when you try to put a bit too much muscle into the shot. You got to get it over that net first and foremost. And the nylon is not doing anybody favors.
Shimanova with the service ace.
Well, this is more like it for Syracuse and crew, because last set it seemed like it was service error after service error after service error, and now a one-touch service ace off the platform of Mackenzie Lynch. The freshman outside, you don't see many mistakes from. How about another?
Back-to-back for Shimanova. She's now got 3 on the day, and the lead is 3 for Syracuse.
Shimanova is known to be primarily an attacker, isn't really world famous for her serving, but again, just causing a lot of confusion, and it's more to do with the placement of it, because you see Savannah Bray and Mackenzie Lynch in the vicinity, and they just can't decide who's going to get it, and it happens again.
Back to back for Polina Shimanova.
Yeah. Again. Well, that was even more clear-cut, and it was just mishandled by Lynch, so they might try to hide her. She is being hidden now in the backcourt behind the libero.
10 aces on the season for Shimanova, had 36 all of last year, so over a quarter of the way to reaching that number. Tees one up from the back row, and the off-speed finds the floor.
I mean, that was dirty. Shimanova loves to go backcourt, especially when she's hitting from the back row, and you would never in a million years expect this ball to go short, and you had everybody around able to make a play on it, but just nobody expecting the ball to fall to them. And now Shimanova, who's just basically taken complete control of this set, making it a 6-1 game, almost by sole virtue of her serves, will stay at the service line.
Shimanova coming alive here in set 3. To this point, she has been bottled up, though. Just 6 kills in the match on 25 attacks, hitting 160. But well, you have to think if she can start to make some plays and spark this Syracuse offense when they really need it most here in set 3, the Orange could benefit, potentially win a set and get back in this matchup.
No doubt, and it's tough for Shimanova because Army has been playing this game extremely smart. They know how to get the Orange out of system and really take their setters out of the game, and when the setter's out of the game, it's really difficult for another player to send the ball to Shimanova's way, because it usually requires a very precise set to tear up on that outside antenna. But Shimanova, certainly, if she can start getting into the serve and if she can make a difference from the back row, what she can do in the front row would just be a bonus.
Shimanova, a 3-time All-ACC performer, and earned some preseason recognition as well. The lone Orange player on the preseason All-ACC list. But, well, I mean, my eyes go right to the birds there. Louisville and Georgia Tech bring back so many spectacular players, and they look poised to run the ACC this season.
And that's why you see both those teams inside the top 5. That's why I'm still circling my calendar for that October 2nd matchup between those two squads. It's chock full of talent.
SU will see all of those teams once ACC play gets going. Naomi Franco gets a point out of the timeout. It's all Cuse early on in set 3.
And that was not a swing. That was an explosion. Franco has worked so hard on her strength, and zero chance to dig that. I don't care who you are, but it's got that much velocity on it. A bit of confusion here as Shimanova, the delayed serve, and they're blowing the whistle on that. Yeah, that was very confusing.
5 kills on the day for Franco as the officials sort things out here.
Shimanova wound up and stopped that serve twice, and then eventually was just standing at the baseline and just bumped it over. Nobody on Army expected it to come because they were still, I think, cleaning up a spot of moisture on the floor. Oh, they're looking for a foot violation by Shimanova. So, see right here, she thinks she's good to serve. So she puts the ball down, and then thinks she's all set, and then goes to her routine. I don't know if she ever stepped on the baseline. That's a tough play.
Serve stays with Syracuse, and they get the point as well.
Well, now the Orange are wearing the Black Knights shoes right now because Army pulled out to an extremely huge second set lead, and now it's Syracuse that is seemingly taking control of the third. And Shimanova seemingly has no plans to get off that service line.
The 7-point lead, the largest by any team today, but it's short-lived. The Black Knights get a response.
And of course I jinxed Shimanova's trip to the service line, but I mean, what a trip it was, giving the Orange an 8-2 advantage off some great spots on the serve, a few good floats, and even getting in a big attack from the back.
Best run we've seen today by either team, and it has Syracuse sitting pretty in the early stages of the third set. Riley Parchment into the game for the Black Knights. First time we're calling her name, and she's a service ace aficionado. But Naomi Franco is a master of kills, and she gets her 6th of the contest.
This is just how good Naomi Franco is, because she didn't even hit this ball that cleanly. She kind of got it off the top of her fingers, but it rolled perfectly right down the line in just short of the libero, Sailor Butters.
Hello, Alana Cutler. Made a lot of noise in the second set, and here she is in the third.
It was not going to be very long until she was back on the score sheet, and she does so in a big way. Beautiful set, and just tease that one right down the line.
Back-to-back points for the Black Knights. Sailor Butters with the service ace. Her 10th of the season. Woodford inside for Bree Wolp. Yes, sir.
I don't think you will ever see a better quick executed in the ACC. That is picture perfect. And the block attempt was coming in there by Paige Fixamer, but she was well late of the attack. And that's open season for a Syracuse hitter.
Syracuse substitution. Ariana Jobert into the game for the Orange. Her first action in this contest. Luckman shook to the back row, no deflection, too much on the shot. Why do you think Coach Bake decided to put Jobert into the contest? Well, this is just her second set plate of the season.
Well, everybody's got to cut their teeth somewhere. She had a very impressive career in high school in the Chicago area. And this is a set that Syracuse certainly is controlling by, and that point just exaggerates that point to make it an 11-5 game, but there's no better time for Jobert to enter this contest.
Bree Wolp looking impressive as well. Someone that Syracuse snagged from the transfer portal. Previously played at UT Arlington in North Florida and actually set the UNF D1 era single season record with 148 blocks, which ranked 10th in the NCAA last year. Mackenzie Lynch off with the shot. She doesn't do that very often.
No, she does not. I mean, this season I should say, averaging just over 3 kills a set, which is a very impressive number for a true freshman. And just kind of missing the roll shot there.
What's been different for Syracuse in the third set, Will? The run just continues. The lead's now 8 for the Orange. Where is this coming from?
Well, I think that just answered your question. The serving has been on a totally different level. I mean, last set we saw service error after service error after service error. I mean, not only is that just handing Army points, it's taking away Syracuse's ability to score. So when you got the kind of serving run that Shimanova had, followed by what Victoria Lukmanchuk just did, it's some good opportunities for Syracuse.
Paige Fixamer rights the ship with a quick kill inside. The Black Knights pull back within 7.
It's a great pass, right into the slot, back to the quick, and Fixamer doesn't miss from there.
What do the Black Knights need to do to spark a run here?
They definitely got to lean on their big guns. Fixamer has been sort of quiet this game, and she definitely has to start working at a higher clip. But Syracuse just has been playing so well, that's going to be very difficult to do.
Free ball for the Orange. Hoffman sets for Wolp. Can Butters get there? She can't.
Nearly running out of room there is Sailor Butters trying to track down that ball. And like I said, you know, Army needs to start incorporating some of their big guns, which is, in this game at least, Mackenzie Lynch, Fixamer, and number 7, most impressively, Alana Cutler, who's just had such a game today. But when Syracuse is playing like this, dominating like this, leading 14-6, they're hard to catch.
Another Syracuse substitution and another true freshman, Melina Brooking, into the game. But Army gets the point. Again, it's Fixamer. Kill number 6.
Brooking from the DMV area, right between DC and Baltimore. It's an interesting combination of players. She plays defensive specialist and a right side hitter. That's not a combination you see too often.
And she heads to the bench after the serve. Luckmanship picks up the scoring from the back row.
This is a different Syracuse team that we're seeing, and they have just turned up the volume between the second and third set here.
Syracuse full of energy and dominating. More set 3 action after the break. Back in the women's building where Syracuse leads Army by 7. The Orange trending in the direction of taking the third set. And they're one step closer as Shimanova gets the points off the deflection.
There's a bit of a delay between that call getting made. I mean, Shimanova demolished that ball, but Army was arguing for a potential net violation, none given. And Syracuse is doubling Army right now after the Black Knights really controlled the first 2 sets.
SU enter the third set hitting just 110. As a team, they're up to 184. But they can play some defense too. Luckmanship with another block.
Coach Bake earlier this week in an interview said that we've really played 1.5 exceptional sets, and that was against the University of Central Florida. I would argue that this is the best volleyball Syracuse has played so far this season. Everything from the serving to the attacking to the defense to the blocking, all facets of the game are at their highest possible ability right now. And this is only, as you see by the scoreboard, this is only the 7th game of the season for Syracuse. It's just going to get better.
Army spends a timeout. It's first. Make that its second of the third set. The Syracuse lead up to 9, the largest of the day for the Orange. And Will, the biggest reason why is that Polina Shimanova has come alive in the third set.
Yeah, she was a bit quieter in the first couple sets, but she's definitely woken up. She's back to controlling the kill game for Syracuse, up to 7 now. Just went on a great serving streak earlier in the set, just could not get any reception out of Army. And now the back row attack doesn't slam it. Everyone's expecting a big shot and just dinks it right over the blockers into a totally unoccupied piece of floor. And everybody on Army was dumbfounded by that one. You can see 7 kills, 3 aces, and she has been swinging 192. A big performance by the returner.
Is there anything she can't do? Because on top of those statistics, which are very impressive, she also has 2 block assists and then 5 digs. Like, she's a Swiss Army knife.
She has been, there's not a lot she can't do. I'm going to answer that question first and foremost. But, I mean, she is just such a complete player. It's the reason why she's gotten so much international experience with the Russian junior national team, has a slew of records here at Syracuse, and it's why she is the newest addition to the 1,500 kill club at Syracuse University. She just does everything right on and off the court.
1,540 career kills now for Polina Shimanova. And for those keeping track at home, she's 9 away from tying Sylvie Uwatara for 3rd all-time in SU history. And the Orange get another point, an air in the middle from Nickerson. The domination continues.
Yeah, now that Syracuse is really starting to pull away from this game, Army, or not this game, this set, I should say, Army is really starting to force the mistakes. Kai Nickerson just trying to lean too much into that swing, sending it into the net, and no block necessary for the Orange.
What's been different about the Black Knights' offensive approach, Will? Because Alana Cutler had 11 kills entering the third set. She only has 1 right now in this set.
Well, I think it's primarily Army just doesn't have the opportunity to set the players that they want as much because that Syracuse serve game has been so good. I mean, you see, this is an overpass here. Army does get that back, but they can make no play on it. That's a Syracuse point that Army basically has no possession over. The Black Knights just have not been controlling the ball the same way they have in previous sets.
They are hitting better at 130, but not exactly playing clean. 18 errors in this contest.
That's a big reason, too. The block game for Syracuse, this set especially, has been really good.
Not the best set from Raina Hughes, not exactly what is in her job description. Leads to an attack error from Franco and a point for the Black Knights.
Yeah, I don't think the middle blocker, right side hitter, redshirt freshman is really expected to drop some sets like that, but you know, she tries, and Syracuse is still well on their way to controlling this set. Just 1 point shy of 20 and 10 clear of Army. This is Savannah Bray at the service line now, trying to make a difference for the Black Knights.
Also noticed the substitution for Army. Julia Johnson checked into the game for the Black Knights. First time we're seeing her. And she gets hands on that shot from Franco, but can't keep it in play. For the first time this evening, the Orange hit 20 before Army.
A phenomenal opposite hitter is a great thing to have for any team, at any level too. High school, college, international, professional. And they can really define the success of a team. And I don't think that burden is totally on Franco and Hughes' shoulders, but Franco has had an unbelievable performance this season with the left hand.
Service error from Alyssa Burt gets Army up to 10, but Syracuse is up to 21 as Luckmanchuk gets another kill.
This is slowly and surely turning into the set of the season for Syracuse. Luckmanchuk, don't forget about me, getting well over the block and no chance for Kai Nickerson, who's playing at the one spot right down that far end sideline, trying to make an overhand dig on that. Good luck.
Don't forget about Lauren Woodford as well. She's the setter. She's got 13 assists, no errors in this contest. Back-to-back kills for Luckmanchuk. She's up to 7.
And now you've got 3 players on the Syracuse roster with 7 kills. Luckmanchuk, Naomi Franco, and Polina Shimanova.
It's a little more like it for the Syracuse offense, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is what Coach Bake wants out of these 3 players, and they're delivering.
Jobert with an off-speed shot, diving attempt by Butters. In the middle and off the hands of Alyssa Burt.
And what was different about that point is that it looked like, for the first time really in the third set, that Army looked like Army. They were able to control their bumps. They were able to get clean sets, and they were able to use any part of the floor that they wanted, as Paige Fixamer just gets right up in the middle. She's so quick. There's no time to react for the Syracuse defense.
Syracuse has really held the preseason All-Patriot League player in check to this point, but she's got back-to-back points with a block.
And that is a big block that Army is putting up in front of them. The 6'2" Paige Fixamer, and Kingsley Wall is making an appearance. The sophomore stands at 6'4".
Fixamer also the team leader in blocks, and you saw why right there. Jobert down the line, didn't get the deflection.
And Jobert still looking to really break into her career here in Orange. She won the 2021 Illinois High School State Association Championship in volleyball, and hopefully more accolades to follow here in the Cuse.
Cut shot for Luckmanchuk. She is on fire.
And Luckmanchuk, we talked so much about so many players this set, especially, you know, Shimanova and Franco, but Luckmanchuk in this home stretch has really been the difference for Syracuse. She's been so dangerous from the outside hitter position, and now she's at the service line.
Biggest lead of the day for Syracuse, 10 points. But it dissolves down to 9 as Julia Johnson comes off the bench and gets her first kill of the match.
Julia Johnson played 18 sets last year with 27 kills. And this year she's only got 3. Now she's back climbing the scoreboard.
Coach Kavachi Lee looking for somebody to make a play off the bench. She did it, but so is Bree Walt for Syracuse.
And Bree Walt, for a player that has been to now 3 different volleyball programs, UT Arlington, North Florida, and landing here at Syracuse, has gelled so immediately with this team. The fact that they can run that level of quick attacks immediately, impressive.
Off-balance shot for Bray. and Syracuse wins the third set. Raina Hughes elevates for the block. How about that set from Syracuse? The Orange, facing a 2-0 deficit, come out of nowhere and throttle Army in the third to force a fourth. SU making plays on offense and defense. We'll see if that momentum can carry over into the fourth set, which we'll have for you right here after the break. Well, let's play a fourth set. Syracuse forces it after a very spectacular performance in the third. And, Will, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that Syracuse really boosted its hitting percentage.
Yeah, if you remember, that number on the Syracuse column in hit percentage was 110 at the end of the second set. Now through 3 sets after a dominating performance, a 25-14 final last set, that number has skyrocketed, and they are thoroughly in control of that statistic, and they've been swinging the ball a whole lot better. Thanks in big part to that woman right there, Victoria Lukmanishuk, has been insane from both sides of the ball. Had a great streak of serves, 8 kills tonight, and including 3 aces. A lot of that came just a few moments ago, and she has really controlled this game. But not just her, it's also been Polina Shimanova and Naomi Franco. It's been kind of a well-rounded effort for the Orange.
Lukmanishuk leads the team with 8 kills. Shimanova, Franco have 7 apiece. Big reason why Syracuse has the kills advantage overall, 35-32. And what's interesting is that when SU leads in the kills department, they're 3-1 this season. So yes, they are 0-3 when trailing 0-1, 0-2 in sets, but they forced the fourth set and are playing some of their best volleyball right now. The Ukrainian tries from the back row, but just a little bit too much velocity on it, and Army opens the scoring in the fourth.
And Alyssa Burt gave Syracuse a really good opportunity with a very nice dig off the swing, and Syracuse unable to use it in transition.
16 digs today for Alyssa Burt, who's replacing Lauren Hogan, who transferred to Texas A&M, and Yulia Yastrub, who graduated from this Syracuse program. Another point for Raina Hughes, a player that didn't see a whole lot of action last year and is also helping to aid some of those vacancies that SU had on its roster entering this season.
You remember Shimanova at the 1-1 mark in the last set went on a massive serving streak. Doesn't last that long this time.
Violation against the Orange and a point for the Black Knights. In the third set, was kind of different from the first 2, Will. It seemed like Syracuse was the initiator. What does Army need to do to get its swagger back, if you will?
I think they just got to come out at the start of this set firing on all cylinders. You know, they couldn't really use their big weapons, most notably Alana Cutler last set, and now I think they really just want to get her back in the game. And Syracuse really has to get that under control. That's the second overhit on a back row spike that we've seen in this game. And if they want their big offensive weapons, you've got Shimanova and Lukmanishuk both in the back row right now. You really got to control that.
Isabella Sullivan serving for Army. Checked into the game in the third set for the first time today. Bray can't get to that ball. Syracuse gets a point back.
And that's the way you do it. And again, we've seen small advantages turn into massive advantages in the blink of an eye. So for Syracuse to get that point back, give themselves the ball, potentially tie this game is huge.
Johnson flies in from the back row and delivers a fastball.
And the player who served that ball, Alyssa Burt, was there to try to make a dig on it, but look at the speed on that. You're not getting there. Lukmanishuk wisely decided to let it go. You don't want to let that take a deflection off of you and potentially screw your libero up. But Army has really bounced back after what was a lackluster set number 3, and they've started to take control of set number 4.
Was that a set play from the Cadets?
It must have been. A beautiful set to the outside hitter, and then just only 2 blockers put up for Syracuse. A great window for the Black Knights to get on the board.
Free ball opportunity for the Orange. Let's see if they can capitalize. Woodford sets for Franco. Can't get it over.
You know, Syracuse is arguing they want a touch. I didn't personally see one down here from floor level. But what I'm starting to see now, especially on that play by Franco, is that Syracuse is starting to make a lot of their old mistakes that plagued them in the first and second set, and that were just totally non-existent in the third set.
Julia Johnson with a service ace. Perhaps one that Luckmanchuk could have let go out of bounds, but instead bounces off her left arm and out of play.
And you've got a line of 5 cadets on the Army sideline doing push-ups after that one. That's quite the celebration. And Army taking an early lead in this set.
Luckmanchuk able to handle this one. Give and go with Walp. Set for Franco. Somehow she snuck that through.
Yeah, those points are always a little confusing because even the players on the floor don't know exactly what side of the net that ball is on at some points. But that ball did just get through the arms of the Army block, and it is a Syracuse point. It was a great out-of-system play by the Orange.
Something I am noticing, Will, is that Isabella Sullivan's still in the game, and it seems like the cadets are giving up a lot of height in the middle of that defense. She stands just 5'7".
Well, she's made up for it with great technical skill and a lot of great decision-making. You can see the mistakes by the Orange just continue to pile on.
Johnson, or make that Sullivan, someone that doesn't particularly play. Neither does Kingsley Wallace, but she's been good lately. But Victoria Luckmanchuk's good right now. And she's up to double-digit kills in the contest.
Yeah, Sullivan's only played 4 sets going into this game. Luckmanchuk just finding a gap and burying that one. Great swing. Sends her to the service line. This could, you know, you need a lifeline now if you're the Orange. This could be the opportunity. That's a rare miscue.
Set error against Army. Point for the Orange. They're back within 2.
And that could be due to Sullivan's inexperience, having come into this game only playing 4 sets. She had a productive season last year, though, with just under 70 assists and averaging around 2 per set.
Will, she's in for Diana Etheridge, who's second in the Patriot League in assists and was Rookie of the Year in the conference last year, but she's not in the game.
Yeah, I wonder why they're deciding to keep her out. I'm trying to find her on the sideline, but
she's coming back in now.
Oh yeah, there she, yeah. Well, that's why I couldn't find her on the sideline, because she was out by the scorer's table.
That's right.
Yeah, but she's back in, so a sense of normality here for the Army offense.
There's some vitals coming from the Black Knights. What do you think the discussion was in the locker room after that third set?
Well, I think Army knew that they did not play their best volleyball last set, and that it was not, that set was, you know, the exception rather than the normal for the Black Knights. And a great swing there by the Orange to pull within 2 in this set.
You'd imagine the game plan was to stop number 11. They didn't do that there.
No, they did not. And you're not stopping number 22 on that one.
Yeah, Kai Nickerson has been a force to be reckoned with in the middle today. She's got 6 kills.
And we've talked about her frame. She is not the biggest player on this floor by any means. Only standing at 5'8", but she kind of floats between an outside hitter and a middle blocker seamlessly.
Raina Hughes has some skills of her own at middle blocker. Back and forth we go in set 4.
And this is, I mean, that's, even if Sailor Butters Libero there was more square to that ball, there's no shot she's getting that up. It just had too much pace on it and not enough time to make a reaction. A beautiful quick set by the Orange. And they've stayed within 2.
Lana Cutler back in the game. Nearly gets a kill, but Syracuse does a nice job to clean it up defensively. She tees it back up. The Orange once again ready for it. Now a free ball for SU.
Seen a lot of tips by both teams. They need a big swing.
There's one from Johnson, but Hughes stands it up.
What a momentum swing for Syracuse. Raina Hughes has plenty of time. They know where that ball is going. And there's no swing in the world that is getting through that wall Ina Hughes is so good as that redshirt freshman, playing in the middle blocker, plays a little bit of right side too. But tonight, she's been a factor for Syracuse.
That redshirt year was big because her 2020 season was wiped out due to COVID in high school after winning the state title with Williamstown High School in 2019, but it seems like she's ready to shine at the collegiate level. Shimanova's been shining for a while, though.
And she gets a huge block point there. Not a hard hit ball, but just a great place shot. And this game's all square.
Diving attempt by Woodford. She can't get there. And Julia Johnson gets another point. She's been very good off the bench. Alma Cavacci-Lee, the Army head coach, was looking for an answer from her sideline, and 21 in white has certainly been that answer.
Well, Cavacci-Lee certainly knows what she's doing when she's coaching a team. She had 75 wins in her first 3 years at the helm for Army. And so if she sees something in Sullivan that she likes in Johnson, it's probably a good thing for the team.
Coach Ghana Sharatnam on Syracuse's side recorded 4 20-plus win seasons at Temple. Coach Lee averages 20 wins per season with the Black Knights in the 16 seasons she's been at the helm. Shot down the line is good. And who else but Johnson again?
And Julia Johnson used to attend the New Mexico Military Institute, was named to the all-tournament team at the National JUCO tournament back in 2020, and she's basically made a seamless transition to D1 volleyball.
So is Paige Fixamer. Seems like Army's really picked up its level of play in the fourth set here, Will. What's been different about this Black Knights attack that we didn't really see in the third?
I think it's just their ability to use the players that they want to. They're getting better digs, and Syracuse keeps making some simple mistakes just like that one. But for Army, they are passing the ball a lot better. They're giving their setter way more breathing room, and they're just mixing up the rotation. So I think new, fresher players are coming in.
4 straight points for Army. That prompts a Syracuse timeout. The Black Knights on top of the Orange by 4 in set 4. Back in the women's building where Army leads Syracuse 2-1. John Eads, Will Henshaw with you. The Black Knights have had a spark in this fourth set, and Julia Johnson has really been the player igniting that flame.
Yeah, really came into this set very quietly, but then very quickly racked up 3 consecutive kills and has allowed the Black Knights to really pull away in this fourth set.
Army's been in 5 4-set matches before this one. They lost 4, but won the last one against UConn. And are in a good position to do that here, but Syracuse has something to say about that.
Yeah, this is a great way to answer if you're the Orange. A little roll shot right over the top. There's no block put forward, so all the defenders are playing very deep, looking for just kind of a deep corner shot. And Shimanova just rolling that one in.
That had some touch. She's up to 9 kills, 7 away from tying for third place in SU program history.
Great dig.
Luckman shook skies. Butters is there for it. Back to Johnson. Etheridge inside for Fixamer. Gets the touch and it stayed inbounds anyway.
Now that was a defensive showcase by both teams. You had Shimanova in the backcourt for Syracuse making a great dig on the first attack, and then Sailor Butters answering immediately with a great dig of her own and allowing her team to extend that point and retake the serve.
10 kills for the Omaha, Nebraska native, Paige Fixamer. Kingsley Wallace tries to win the joust, earns a free ball for the Black Knights. Add another for Fixamer.
And John, we talked in the break, we were going over kind of the new faces that Army has thrown forward, like Julia Johnson, but we also talked about how Fixamer is just kind of back in her old groove like it was in the first and second set. A very quiet third set, frankly, for everybody on Army. But the Black Knights are back to full speed right now, it seems.
11 kills on the match for Fixamer. This is now her 7th double-digit kill game of the season. Also has 4 blocks, so her 4th 3+ block game of the season. Wasn't exactly making that big of an impact early in this contest, but has really picked it up since then. But Franco's been on all day. and she gets a big kill for Syracuse.
This is just as good as it gets, and you got to have that option on the right side because Army will start to get wise to the normal left side outside hitter attacks or even the back row attack. So the right side is a great option to really throw Army a curveball.
Julia Johnson goes with the right hand shot, but fires it out of bounds. And Syracuse did a good job there to avoid the deflection.
That might be one of the first errors we've seen out of Johnson in this game.
Speaking of errors, there's one from Alyssa Burt. Her third service error of the contest. And it gives Army another point. They're crawling closer and closer to taking this match. It's the last thing you want in this situation.
No, your service needs to be on its A game if you're Syracuse, because you just, at some point, serves just become free balls for Army because they're such a good defensive team.
That was a nice shot from Luckmanchuk. It looked like it touched that back line. The officials say it didn't. Could we get a challenge from Syracuse here?
Yeah, I think we are. Well, they're debating touch. They're not even counting the fact. They're not even looking at the fact that that might have gotten into the orange flooring here. They're looking for a wipe off the hand.
Well, if there's one thing that Syracuse has been good at today, it's the challenges. 2 for 2. Let's see if they can make it 3 for 3. It looked like the ball was pinpointed to that back line. May have been the deflection too. Yeah, maybe off the right hand there.
Oh, but you're
Kingsley
right.
Wallace.
That does look really close to that corner there.
One way or the other, the video replay makes it seem like this point should be given to Syracuse.
Yeah.
Let's have one more look at it. Because if it stays in bounds, I mean, there's no debate to be had, right?
Oh, no. If that ball lands in the orange, it's a Syracuse point every single time.
Let's see. Ooh, that's close.
That is really,
if anything,
really
it had to
close.
have touched that white line.
This is Wallace on the block.
Looked like it changed paths there again off her right hand.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Wallace is so tall, and they are counting it.
Yep.
Wow. I was just going to say, unfortunately, Wallace is so tall and so good at getting her hands high that the top of her hands were almost out of frame.
As she's 6'4", you would think that's a big asset in volleyball, but that time a harm. The Orange pull back within 3. Why is this point of set 4 just so important to either team? The game feels like it could swing in either direction right now.
I think you just said it right there. This game is only, one turning point away from going in favor of either of these squads. Syracuse does not have a set to give. If they lose this set, I should say, the game is over. So every point is a vital point for them as far as they're concerned.
The Orange 3 for 3 on challenges, but have some work to do. Fixamer misses, but gets the point anyway. How about that for good karma?
And she knows that she got a little lucky there. Just goes to the quick set. It's a great set, to be fair, but a bit too quick, and you can just see it just gets the slightest of touches on that, but it's all it needs. It lands in the orange paint, and Paige Fixamer gets away with one.
Not exactly how you draw it up, but she'll take it.
Well, it's good to see if you're Army that they're still playing with pace and aggression, because Syracuse has proven time and again that they can come back in these sets, and you don't want to force a fifth.
Is it a difficult spot to be in, to be up 2-0, then give up a set and come back and win one?
Absolutely. It's so demoralizing. You know as a team that you were only 25 points away from getting the W, and then you let the opposition just get right back into the game. And the fifth set's a dogfight. It's 1st to 15. Look, Manchuk sends into the block, and the block actually goes over her own head.
And Kingsley Wallace used that 6'4" frame to her advantage that time. Johnson from the back row pushes it forward. Shimanova up ahead for Luckmanchuk.
It's a real good bump set by Shimanova.
Johnson from distance. Jobert back in the game for Syracuse, 5 in orange. They go inside for Walp, gets the deflection, and another kill for the transfer.
Yeah, Walp has been deadly up the middle. She's been present, but she hasn't been the primary target for a lot of these sets. And I think, we're seeing it from Army. The quick sets up the middle can be so devastating for a defense. Even if it doesn't go down for a kill, it certainly gets the floor defense out of sorts. And Bree Walp has not been utilized too much.
Grad transfer, up to 7 kills in this match, equals the amount she had last time she was on the floor against North Florida. Violation against Syracuse. Alyssa Burt wants a call against Army, but she won't get it. And the Black Knights extend their lead to 5.
Yeah, Burt thought it was a net violation, but what the referee called was that Burt pushed the ball into the antenna. You can think of the antennas like goalposts in football. The ball's got to go through those in order for the point to count. But if it even touches the antenna, the point is canceled.
Syracuse needs points, and quickly. Shimanova snags one there.
That's a good answer. Shimanova has had a few missed swings this set. So instead of teeing this ball up, you can see she just gets a nice set in the front row. Is a very tight set, so she doesn't have room to swing, or she risks a net violation. So she just pushes that into the blocker's hands and pushes it out of play.
Shimanova up to 10 kills, her 6th double-digit kill outing of the season, joining Victoria Luckman-Shook in double figures. And the Orange get back-to-back points off the misfire.
Well, Army is still ahead by a bit. It's a 3-point lead, but Syracuse has looked a bit more lively as of late.
This is more of a deja vu moment to sets 1 and 2. The score what it is right now, and so is this. Army to 20 points before Syracuse for the 3rd time today. Each time they've done that, they've ended up finishing out and winning the set.
They've been on a mission. There's no other way to put it. They have been super focused all game.
And Alana Cutler back in the contest for Army, team leader, actually leading all players with 12 kills. Is she who they're going to go to here late?
You got to imagine Syracuse is refusing to let this ball go down, but you got to imagine that Army will look to number 7 to end this game.
They go to her here, and she answers the bell.
We just mentioned her just entered the game, gets a very nice back set, can really go anywhere that she wants to, and just uses that great cut shot that we've seen a handful of times before. Syracuse has had trouble with that all game. They've not put a defender inside the 3-meter line, and it drops for another Army point. They're now up by 5, and they look to be in great control of the 4th set and by extension the game.
Syracuse exhausts its final timeout here in the 4th set. And Cutler pushing this Army team closer and closer to closing it out here in the first game of this Syracuse tournament. And, I got to say, if the 5 games we have remaining here on ACC Network Extra are just like this one, we're in for quite a treat here this weekend.
Yeah, you got a full slate of volleyball. I hope you guys brought your appetite, because the ACC Network Extra has you covered. We've got great games all throughout. I'm really excited about that Yale versus Army game. Yale is one of the few, it's actually the only Ivy League team to have ever actually won an NCAA tournament game, versus Army, who seems to be there fairly regularly. So I'm very excited for that game tomorrow at 2. That should be a great contest. And Hofstra and everybody else on this squad brings in great teams that should make for a very exciting tournament.
Full day of action on Friday, a couple of games on Saturday as well. You can catch Polina Shimanova and Syracuse back in action tomorrow against Hofstra. A reason why you might want to watch is because she has a chance to make history tomorrow. She has 10 kills this evening. She's 6 away from tying for 3rd place in SU history with Sylvie Uetara for career kills at 1,549. So if you want to see some more volleyball and some history, definitely tune in tomorrow.
And it just goes to show how in tune Polina is with the rest of her game. She's so focused on the task at hand that I was talking to her a few nights ago, and she didn't even know that she had broken the 1,500 kill mark until afterwards, and she looked on social media and she saw all the posts about it.
If you want more Shimanova action, she'll also be broadcasting 2 of those games here on ACC Network Extra along with you.
Yeah,
Will?
She's a super awesome personality. She obviously knows so much about volleyball, but she's going to be a great addition to the broadcast crew and should have some really good insight on Hofstra and Yale.
Mention the fact that she decided to come back to Syracuse for her graduate year, and she's spending it in the Newhouse School of Public Communications, the best journalism school in the country.
I'd have to agree. And we're getting a little confusion here. Called out of bounds by the flag referee there in the back corner. Army thought that was in. Either that or they're arguing a tip on the hands.
Officials will take a second to sort things out. I mentioned it before, Army's been in 5 4-set matches this season. They lost the first 4, but won the last time they were in this situation against UConn. And they're trying to get one more point to pull closer and make it back-to-back wins in 4-set matches. Was there a deflection there?
I didn't see one. The ball certainly landed out of bounds. This shot should... Yeah, that ball's definitely not in. That's out right there. So the real question is whether we got a piece of hands. Another review. We're getting... That's the second this set, the 4th all game, but the first by Army. I mean, we were just talking about Syracuse now 3 for 3 today on reviews, so Army trying to keep the streak alive and get their next point. I mean, they certainly believe that this ball was touched. I'm not sure. I can't see anything too definitive. That was the angle that really made the difference on the second review, I believe, back in the second set, I believe.
Yeah. Our ACC Network Extra crew doing a great job tonight capturing all the angles.
Yeah, it's so difficult to make these calls in game time, especially because the flag referee here immediately signaled right after the point that the ball was inbounds and then quickly changed it to mark out of play. It certainly goes through the hands. Whether or not there's contact, I can't say.
It's a big point because for Syracuse, you get this point, you get 17, you have a chance to potentially go on a run. We saw it once before and force this 5th set, but if it goes the way of Army, instead it's a 23-16 lead, and the Black Knights are 2 away from taking this 4th set.
Yeah, so the call on the floor was out of bounds, no touch, Syracuse point. And as that stands, the scoreboard here in the women's building reads 22-17. So if this point were to get overturned, the scoreboard would move to 23-16, which, like you said, is a huge difference. I mean, there's no doubt the ball is out of bounds.
Yeah,
I don't think
it doesn't touch the line.
Yeah.
So it's all about the deflection here.
Wow, this game has just been defined by these kind of points. I mean, these close calls have really just kind of... We've seen it almost every set. A point that is reviewed and overturned turns into a huge catalyst for the other team. So, I mean, Army certainly not needing assistance this game. I mean, they've been dominant almost on all parts of the game, but certainly looking for point number 23 in the 4th set here.
Hey, whichever way this point goes, this match as a whole, very competitive. Sets 1-2, Syracuse dominated in 3.
Yeah, these are 2 squads that are kind of in the same spot. You know, they didn't have the start to the season that they both would have liked. I mean, Army's at 2-5, SU's at 3-3. And Coach Bakir Ganeshwaratnam said, you know, Army's record does not reflect the kind of team that they put on the floor. So he expects them to be extremely competitive this season, Patriot League or otherwise. And he's certainly the Black Knights are certainly putting up a fight today. And they did not see anything definitive, so the point will remain with Syracuse. Like you said, big difference making it a 22-17 game.
And Coach Bake has had the luck today. 4 for 4 at instant replay reviews, and that might be the biggest one of all if Syracuse can piece together a run here.
What's the Powerball at tonight for Coach Bake?
Whatever it is, he should go out and get a ticket. Lauren Woodford on the serve for the Cuse. She's got 1 ace this season. 17 assists on the day as well.
Oh!
Wow! Talk about good luck!
And the fortune shift almost immediately. A hand pass, kind of a desperation over the head pass, takes a deflection. Great reaction by Woodford, and just a campfire ball. Everyone's sitting around and watching it.
Just the 6th kill of the season for the setter, and Syracuse has some life. Shamanova cuts, and that's a kill. Syracuse within 3.
And you can feel it in the building on that Syracuse sideline. This team is juiced up right now, and what a swing by Polina Shamanova. Just doesn't even look like the block is there. She can go with, that ball can go anywhere that she wants it to. A great cut shot opens up the hand and just takes a deflection off a defender, but right around the shoulder and flies out of bounds, and we're going to get another timeout here.
Tables might be turning a little bit, especially after that instant replay review. Army spends its first time out in the fourth set and struggling to close things out. Syracuse trying to pad a W to its resume, get over 500. A little bit still to do here. Coming up for SU in the Syracuse tournament, a match tomorrow at 11 a.m. against Hofstra, and then they'll play Yale as well. 2 matches in one day, which can certainly be taxing for the SU players. Then they'll travel down to Bryant and participate in the Dog Pound Challenge before opening up ACC play against Boston College on the 21st.
Yeah, I mean, that Dog Pound Challenge is certainly no gimme. Bryant's got a really solid team, and then they got to get comfortable with the crew from New England because Boston College comes to the Women Building not too far after, and then, like you said, right after that, Duke, Wake, Virginia Tech. I mean, it's a slew of ACC competition, and that's really when the schedule begins, and that's what these players have really circled on their calendars. So there's no gimme games coming up in that schedule. Every set has to be fought for, starting from this tournament. I mean, they've got 2 good games against Hofstra and Yale tomorrow, and then you finish up non-conference play with Bryant. None of those games gimmies. Got to fight every single time, and it should be a great challenge for this Orange team that has really fought tooth and nail for this game against Army.
On top of that, Syracuse will face 9 teams that made the NCAA tournament 1 year ago. So a gauntlet of a schedule upcoming for Syracuse. The Orange looking for a big non-con win here against the Black Knights. Raina Hughes pulls them 1 step closer. Big roof in the middle.
This is the Army tries to use the same tactic. They try to go to the timeout and ice up Syracuse, but it almost backfires, and it gives Syracuse more time to kind of reset and get organized, and the blocking has just been so good all game today, and that might be the best block of all.
Cutler diagonal off the hands of Luckmanchuk. Army 2 points away from taking the match.
You're not going to keep Cutler out of the game for very long. Has had a brilliant game and really starting to take control in this Army season.
Service error against Army and a big point for Syracuse. Now the Orange have an opportunity to go on a run.
This is sweaty palms territory for everybody involved. Syracuse down by 2. Army leads 2 sets to 1. And a great server at the line.
Good dig by Burt. Sets up Franco. Syracuse looking to recover. Luckmanchuk to the back row. Didn't keep it in play. Army has set point and match point.
Well, that was so back and forth that entire point. I mean, there were 3 separate containing blocks by Army that Syracuse used to recycle the ball and get a new set of 3 touches on it. And you'd expect one of those to go in favor of Syracuse, and then even the swing by Army. I mean, Mackenzie Lynch did not have the best set sent her way, almost had a swing behind that ball and did not get great contact on it. But again, the blocking game for Army comes up huge and gives them match point here in the 4th set.
Hey, hold the phone though, because Coach Bake is rolling the dice again, and he wants the official to take one more look at this shot.
He's been on fire today, so I'm not going to say he's without reason.
It's not a heater. If it touches anybody's hands here, it has to be 7, Cutler.
Yes.
Because it didn't look like Fixamer was anywhere near that one. And in this stage of the game, Will, you figure, you may as well try and get a point off this replay, right? You may as well. It's use it or lose it. You can't take it to the locker room.
Yeah, exactly. You may as well try to get that point back and make it a 23-22 game and try to at least take match point away from Army. But I'm not going to lie, that didn't look too close to me. This might be a short review session unless they can find irrefutable evidence that grazed the fingers of Alana Cutler.
Tough to tell from there. Headsets coming off the official's head.
We're going to call here momentarily. Is it 5 for 5?
It is not. Army gets the point, no deflection, and the Black Knights have match point.
Well, it was the right call by Coach Bake just to attempt the challenge. I mean, he's right in the hot hand and trying to take match point away, but ultimately Army definitively winning that point, and now with a great opportunity to close this thing off.
Kingsley Wallace and Isabella Sullivan into the game for the Black Knights, and they'll try to close it out right here. Woodford sets for Luckman-Shook, had to hesitate, but she finishes.
Syracuse not done yet. Luckman-Shook gets an absolute howitzer out of her hand. Takes a tip and lands in bounds. No arguing that.
Still match point for Army. And they end it. Mackenzie Lynch, the true freshman, with the rifle. So in a game where Army was up 2-0, Syracuse forces a fourth set. The Cadets come out in set 4, and they close things out 25-22. It's the second consecutive game that the Black Knights have won in 4 sets, and they move to 3-5. On the other side, Syracuse falls to 3-4. The Orange will be back in action tomorrow against Hofstra, Army in action against Yale. That's all for us tonight. For Will Henschel and the entire crew behind the scenes, I'm John Eads. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. One more time, Army takes down Syracuse 3-1 in a 4-set thriller.